right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about the Chargers as they pick up yet another win and improve to 6-3 on the season with a win over the Titans. And they won 27-17. And like I said, they're 6-3, and they're looking good right now. They are a team that I think, gets that one of those wild card spots at the moment. Now, they do have some tough games coming up on the schedule. We will see them on Sunday Night Football against the Bengals, which I think could be a high-scoring game. Then they got the Ravens after that. They got back-to-back primetime games. 3 of their next 4 games are in primetime. You got the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Then you got the Ravens on Monday Night Football the following week, the Har Bowl. And then you got the Falcons, but that's an early game. But then after that, Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs in Week 14. So, yeah, and then, you have, like I said, you got the Falcons, you got the Buccaneers with Mike Evans coming back, which is going to be tough. That'll be at home. And then you got the Broncos at home as well, who are playing better. So, there are tough games on the schedule. And I think this team is up for the challenge. Like I said, they ended up winning against the Titans 27-17. And we'll kind of go through it. So the Chargers got the ball to start off the game. They went 12 plays, 68 yards, and that led to a Dicker field goal. So that made it 3-0. And then actually a little bit of a surprise, but the Titans actually scored a touchdown on their first drive of the year. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't know what I just said there. First touchdown drive of the year. First touchdown drive of the game, I meant to say. They went 7 plays, 72 yards. And Will Levis connected with Calvin Ridley for a 41-yard touchdown. Will Levis actually did make some plays in this game. And, he was running. He was using his legs as well. So, maybe the layoff for him helped. I don't know. We'll see. But that put them up 7-3, then a couple of punts, and then the Chargers kicked another field goal, another Cameron Dicker field goal, a 37-yarder. Then the Titans missed a field goal. They went 9 plays, 90 yards. They got all the way down to the Chargers' 31-yard line, and Nick Folk missed the field goal, and then that led to a Chargers touchdown. You had Herbert connecting with Joshua Palmer for a 36-yard gain, and later in the drive, Herbert on 4th and 1 scored a rushing touchdown. So, yeah, that made it 13-7. The Titans then punted on their next drive. Nobody scored after that in the first half. Then the Titans, they opened up the second half with a field goal drive. 11 plays, 62 yards. And that led to a Nick Folk field goal, 27-yarder. But then the Chargers answered. They went 7 plays, 43 yards. And that led to a Justin Herbert to Quinn Johnston touchdown. This was for 16 yards. So Quinn Johnston continues to produce in his sophomore season. The Titans then punted, and that led to another Chargers drive. He had a 37-yard reception by Ladd McConkey on the drive, and later Haskins from 1 yard out scored. More punts in this game, and then the Titans did end up scoring another touchdown. Will Levis connected with Calvin Ridley for a 15-yard touchdown, and that was it. Levis on the day finished 18-23, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 7 times. 47 yards on the ground by Tajay Spears, 44 yards on the ground by Pollard. You had 41 yards on the ground for Will Levis. Calvin Ridley had a good game, 5 receptions for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. Westbrook Akine had 3 for 31. Will Levis did fumble, but he didn't lose it. Titans defense, no sacks in this game of Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert's getting good protection, which is, something that they wanted to do. I mean, you go and you draft Joe Alt, and then, you still got Rashawn Slater, of course. And this team loves to run the football. They ran the ball for 145 yards in this game. 55 yards by Gus Edwards, who came back. He was on IR. He came back. J.K. Dobbins, 50 yards on the ground. Herbert had 32. And then you had Hassan Haskins scoring from 1 yard out for a touchdown. But he only had 4 yards on the ground. Ladd McConkey, 2 receptions for 52 yards. Joshua Palmer, 1 for 36. Will Dissly had 5 for 30. Quinn Johnston, 2 for 24 and a touchdown. And like I said, 7 sacks on the day by the Chargers defense. The defense continues to play well. Um, so yeah, they're 6-3, and they're sitting in a good spot right now. Now again, they got a tough part of their schedule, but like I said last week, this team plays really good defense. They run the football, and Justin Herbert, has started to air it out a little bit more in this offense. So I really like what's going on with the Chargers right now. It's they're going to be a dangerous team if they make the playoffs. Anthony Manzano in the chat. It's good to hear from you. Haven't heard from you in a while. He said, "Do you think it would be? Do you think it would? Do you think it would benefit these assistant coaches or position coaches to be a OC or DC in college before becoming a head coach or coordinator in the NFL? I mean, you're getting experience, so I guess that, I mean, the short answer, it's just more experience. Um, and then also like the other thing too, well, yeah, I mean that's how, I mean look at like the Shanahan McVay coaching tree. I mean all those guys, uh, were on one staff. You had them two, you had LaFleur, you had Mike McDaniel. They were all on one staff, in the NFL, and now, they're all head coaches. So I mean it's all experience. So yeah, I mean I don't think it hurts. Um, so that would basically be my answer to that, if that makes sense. But back to the Chargers, though. I mean, you look at some of these teams that they're going to be going up against. I mean, look, they only lost to the Chiefs by 7 points earlier in the year. They definitely could have won that game, and they're going to get another crack at them later this season. I'm curious to see how they will do against the Ravens. Now, the Ravens have a very good offense. They have one of the best offenses in the NFL. However, their pass defense is not good. The run defense is good, and the Chargers like to run the ball, but you got Justin Herbert who's airing it out a little bit more, like I said. So I'm curious to see how that game is going to go. I think they match up well with anybody. I think they could beat anybody, honestly. I do. I mean, I guess you could look at maybe like the limitations because I think the weapons that they have that Herbert's been throwing to. Quinn Johnson's been good. Ladd McConkey's been good. Palmer, he's had for a few years now. I don't think any of those guys necessarily scare you, but I think those guys can produce in big spots. If they're going to have to. They're going to have to get in shootouts with some of these teams, though. I think that's where I worry. But I think that they could be up for the challenge because, you got the quarterback and you got the head coach. Jim Harbaugh is already doing wonders with the Chargers right now. And you could tell that Justin Herbert, is happy. And I think we're all happy to see that because, Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback. And it's just when he first came into the league, Anthony Lynn was his first head coach. And Lynn had some success, of course, as a head coach. But, that didn't really work out. And then we all know what happened with Brandon Staley. It got off to a good start, but then ended terribly. So, Anthony in the chat is also saying, what is happening with Mike McDaniel? He's learning on the job because he didn't have experience being a coordinator, and he's making mistakes that are rookie head coach mistakes. A rookie head coach should be making as a year 3 coach. I'm not really following what I mean. I kind of understand what you're saying. I'm just the way it's worded is confusing me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, again, for some people, I mean, Mike McDaniel is a first-time head coach. Well, now he's more along into his tenure there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have no head coaching experience, I mean, you got to get head coaching experience, at some point. So, I mean, obviously, Sean McVay became a head coach, and everyone's like, why are the Rams hiring this guy? And look at how successful he's been, and it is interesting, but yeah, I mean, Mike McDaniel, I know some people have kind of complained about him just, with how the Dolphins have looked this year, but they have looked better with Tua being back, so I think that was part of the problem. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really paid very close attention to Dolphins games where I'm saying, man, that was an odd choice or things like that. But um, we'll see. But they do look a lot better with Tua being back. So, but they got like I've been saying, they have an uphill battle with um, with what their record's at. But the Chargers are a team 6-3. I mean, I think I had them at 9-8. I think they're going to get more wins. I think you're going to see them get maybe 10, 11 wins, maybe. But again, I'm curious to see like if they play the Ravens and they got to put up points and keep up with them. They're going to be able to do that, and I think they can. But that's the one thing I'd be a little bit concerned about. The Bengals are a team that puts up a lot of points, but their defense is not very good. So I think that game could be a shootout, but I think the Chargers will be able to handle it because they're the better team. I think the Chargers are a better overall team than the Bengals. Maybe I'd lean more towards saying that the Bengals have a better offense, but the Chargers play a different style. Like the Bengals are not a team that runs the football effectively. I mean, Chase Brown has done a nice job, but I would say he's more of a receiving back. But again, he's a good player. He's been a good player for them. And, of course, they have Jamar Chase, and we'll see if they get T. Higgins back. But, the Chargers like to run the football. And, they're going to do that against the Bengals on Sunday. And if they're going to have to air it out and keep up with Joe Burrow in that offense, then they're going to try to beat you that way as well. But they play good defense. And that's the one thing that I look at and say, that's the magic of Harbaugh, is how he turned around that defense, because that defense was not good last year. So, Chargers continue to roll, though, and they are going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs, because I think that's where they're headed right now. But let me know what you guys think about the game. Let me know what you guys think about the Chargers. What are your takeaways from it? How far do you think the Chargers could go if they make the playoffs? Let me know in the comments. So we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we'll talk about the playoff picture, where everything currently stands at the moment. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.